Thanks again so much for taking time to talk to me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Morbius is a big deal movie for you.
Yeah, totally. I wish it got better reviews, but yeah, no, it's been a great thing to be a part of and be able to do a big movie like that. Yeah, truly an honor in this way, to make a superhero movie.
Where does one start to create a score which is both like action and horror sci-fi?
I mean, I think we started off of looking at, or basically I kind of asked myself what kind of score I wanted to hear when I was, a teenager and really appreciating these kind of movies. And so I went back and kind of, looked at the movies that I really, really liked when I was a kid. And that's basically, the John Carpenter stuff like Escape from New York, Assault on Precinct 13 and so on. And I think we really paid a homage to that kind of sound in one way in the score, but then we also wanted to make it a horror score in one way, more than a classical superhero kind of score, because he is an anti-hero, but we wanted to portray him as a monster a bit, maybe more than it shows in the movie right now, but yeah, that was the initial thoughts of really making him a monster.
It feels like the percussion in this score is really intense, and speaking about like those scores that you liked growing up, like I definitely hear like like Terminator and things that in there. Was the percussion as a major element part of the plan from the beginning?
Yeah, but to give the drive also, and to really enhance the action parts, and also to cut through when it's so much effects and so on. It's so much happening in movies like this, so you have to come through with something, otherwise it's just this thin little thing happening in the background. So it's always a battle of coming through the sonic spectra of a movie, and especially a movie like this.
Now, were there any concerns about like fitting into the already extant like Venom and SpiderMan universes?
No, I think from my point, I was never actually interested in doing something linking them together, because Morbius is in a way his own character. Of course, it's in their world, but we're presenting Morbius now, so I thought it was really good to keep it on the Morbius road, kind of, and keeping him standing on his own legs, sort of.
Well, I have to imagine that like you have a lot of places to start. Like, I mean, I can see all of those synthesizers behind you right now.
In the room next to it too, also.
Like, how do you like pick a starting point when you have like this much like readily at your fingertips, so to speak?
But basically, I mean, choosing the synths is never really hard, because if you know them well, you know what you can get out of them, and I think it's always kind of funny to force yourself into like, I have to use this now or something. So I have this synth over there called the EMS Synthi, which is like a briefcase synthesizer from I think it's even from the late 60s or beginning of the 70s, and it big Pink Floyd used the same thing on Dark Side of the Moon and so on, and I really like that one, because it's really like experimental, and it's really good of doing space farts and alarm sounds. So a lot of the like pitch dropping alarm sounds, which is in the movie and comes back quite often in the score, is made with that one. And that was, it starts with experimenting. You stand in front of a synth and a sound is born, and then that leads to another, and it's like, oh, maybe I should record this, and so on. And it's
Now, like, this is notably like your fourth film with Daniel Espinosa.
Yeah, no, it's this. I think it's the seventh film.
Like,
Yeah.
how did you come to initially meet and begin working with him?
We went to film school together, and then we knew each other. But I was a sound designer back then, and sound engineer. I always been making music on the side, but you know, this is Sweden, and the Swedish film industry isn't that big. You know, we're 10 million people here, so the industry isn't that big. So I never thought that I could actually become a film composer in that sense. So I've always been into producing music for myself, and I've always been a film nerd. So on film school, I kind of figured out that I want to do, where I saw that sound is the closest to making music for films, and so I started off doing that. But Daniel picked me up when he heard some of my music that I did when he went on to go to the Danish film school. And then he invited me down to Denmark to see his like graduation film in the editing room, and then he kind of asked me after he showed it to me, it's like, what do you think? And I said, yeah, it was good, but the music was pretty cheesy. And he's like, great, because that's why you're here. I want you to write the music for that one, for this, and that's how it started. And since then we basically made all his movies except Safe House together, which has been fantastic. It's been great fun.
Yeah, like, what is that creative journey like, getting to both be part of each other's journeys?
No, but it's fantastic, and it's you know it's you know, it's also painful, you know, because it's a friend. So if like Morbius now, that the reviews are not that good, it's you feel for your friend, you know, and of course that's a hard thing, and of course always it is hard to work with your friends. It's but we learned how to do that also. I mean, but of course always comes a point in the project where we hate each other for a couple of days. It goes back and we have a talk, and everything is good, you know.
Your English language work has been primarily in like genre film, like thrillers or sci-fi horror, but like your filmography demonstrates that you've done like far more, obviously. Does the composition process differ when a film is a drama like Queen of Hearts versus like Morbius?
Yeah, totally. I think, especially if we're talking making movies in Scandinavia, it's much freer. Of your expression can be so much freer, much more open. You can, I mean, if you listen to Queen of Hearts and compare that score to Morbius, it's, you know, it's two complete different worlds. You know, some of the tracks is in Morbius. When we mixed it, it was like 2,000 tracks or something, like ridiculous. I think the most tracks we have in Queen of Hearts is like 16 or something, you know. So it's totally a big difference, but I like that. I think it is it's a good challenge in a way, you know, and put yourself out to do other stuff. But I mean, it's also thanks to Daniel, because the movies he's been getting since Snabba Cash, Easy Money that we did together here in Sweden, that kind of led us to Hollywood. I mean, that was a thriller, so I think that kind of put us into that slot of genres of making the thriller kind of horror movies and so on. But I mean, I would love to do like a straight up horror movie or something like that, instead of you know, this that I've done, and you know, I love to do different movies.
Well, I mean, like, life was like had very many horror elements to it. And also, I just now realized, I was like, I think it's very appropriate that you and Daniel did Morbius, which is part of the Venom universe, given the fact that like so many people thought when Life originally came out that it was like this sneaky backdoor Venom thing.
I know, which is also fun, you know. It's like what's happening on the internet on the side of a movie. There's, you know, it's so much speculations always, and it's And also when you're part of the process, sometimes it's scary to see that happening on the side, but it's also fun, you know, to see. It's like, okay, but it's
Well, it's definitely going to get people to go see it, and they're definitely going to be surprised.
yeah, no, but exactly. So it is a good thing.
Now, your bio states that you're actively engaged in the current diversity dilemma within the film industry. Can you speak to your part of the composer's mentorship through the Swedish Collecting Society, STEM?
Yeah, but it's I mean, basically what it is, it's I think what it says there, it makes it sound much more bigger than it is. What I actually just do is I try to help female composers with projects, if we can do like collabs and so on. I've been working a lot with Rebecca Carjord, for instance, and taking her in and try to, you know, help them on their way, because I mean, it's going pretty well for me. So if I could be the guy that actually goes in and roots for a female composer and says, of course she can handle it, and you can use me as a consultant or whatever, but I don't want any credits on it. But and you know, and those kind of things, I think it's really. I mean, that it's something that I can do, and I have I don't know if it's the power to do it, but I'm in the position to do it, and I think it is. We're lacking, you know, the diversity, especially in composers. I mean, it's now it's finally starting to happen things, you know, with the Since Hildur and so on. But it's been, you know, a lot of years with no female composers.
Yeah, no, like I find it, like, as another middle-aged white guy, like I'm always happy to see people in positions of power be able to use that to, like, elevate marginalized, you know, people in whatever industry they may work in. So is that sort of your thoughts behind it all?
Yeah. No, and I think, yeah, definitely. And I think it's just, I mean, come on, it's let's help each other out. It's going to be a so much better world if we just help each other out. And also, you know, and I think from what I'm hearing with the female composers that I know and meet, you know, it's that they bring something completely new to the table too. So I think everybody should be interested in that too. And also, you know, middle-aged white composers that are maybe not that thinks is the best thing of female composers coming into the market. But I think I think everybody can learn from each other a lot and see, because they have a unique voice also that they bring, which is, yeah.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. Well, Jon, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with me. I really appreciate it. This has been a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day, sir.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.